am the kind of guy who gets bored with status quo. I always look out for what's the next exciting thing. You need to come to work to have fun.
What do you think are those key traits that make somebody an innovator?
Hello there, I am E.G. Nadhan, I just go by Nadhan, and you're listening to the Tech Legacies podcast.
Hi everyone, welcome to the Tech Legacies video podcast. I'm your host, Fanny Dunnigan, where I chat with technology executives, leaders, and professionals as they share their learnings, advice, and challenges faced during their career so that we can also share with you all in the audience some lessons learned. So today I am joined by E.G. Nadhan, goes by Nadhan. Thank you for joining me today, Nadhan.
Absolutely delighted to be here, Fanny. It's an honor and a privilege, and having a conversation with you is always a fun experience, so here we go.
We met recently through a live show, and one of the things that kind of sparked me about what you do, Nadhan, is you're kind of like at the forefront of technology trends, and in your networking and in your research, you kind of keep a pulse on everything that's going on. What are some of the key trends you're noticing in the industry right now?
Just speaking to, you called out my role there, and that's what excites me. I am the kind of guy who gets bored with status quo. So I might give it a day or a week, but then I always look out for what's the next exciting thing. You need to come to work to have fun. You need to come to work with that curiosity. And my role as the global chief architect leader in the CTO office positions me to do that, which is work with the products of today and the technologies of tomorrow for the solutions that will have outcomes for our customers. That's my job, right? And in that role, what I'm seeing is, there is more focus on security for sure. There is the need to be as secure as you can be, being predictive and being proactive. That's one. And then there is also this increased focus around resilience, as in, it is not just about having contingency plans and, plan Bs or, what if scenarios and so on. You just got to be resilient. And that doesn't mean, you can compromise on innovation. Right. So that's still table stakes. So it is those enterprises who are prepared to deal with change and are resilient that will actually survive the next unpredictable setback. That's another trend that I'm seeing. And finally, questions are being asked about, we heard this thing about going to the cloud that will actually save money. And, but then we are seeing that, there is a delayed realization. Wow, we are spending more than we did before, or way over than, what we anticipated. So these are some of the, trends that we are seeing. And I'm not even getting into the depths of technological trends, but overall patterns that we are seeing, Fanny.
And to keep up, we have to continually innovate in the tech sector. What do you think are those key traits that make somebody an innovator?
So I would say, very humbly, not being, challenging status quo. That is one. I mean, just because it worked in the past doesn't mean it will work in the future. That is one. The other one is to, kind of look for how to deal with change. What is the next change that will hit us, and how can we be better prepared and innovating? As a matter of fact, setbacks like COVID and so on, they actually trigger the innovation. Even the need to be resilient can actually trigger innovation, and resilience is really at an enterprise level or organizational level or at an individual level. So traits would include how can we not get into have a setback deal a blow to us. So how can we be innovative around that? So that is another key trait. And then if you have the perspective of working across domains, so not just being focused on, applications or a particular industry or a particular layer of the architecture, instead of, spread your wings, literally, and collaborate with others, learn from others, share information. Those are traits that would actually spawn innovation as a very desirable outcome, right? It is not easy to say, okay, one person X is an innovator and person Y is not. But once they inculcate those types of collaborative capabilities and also think broader beyond their area of expertise, it's bound at the intersection. That's where the innovation is bound to happen, Fanny.
Nadhan, I grew up I went to school in the 90s when I was still learning programming in BASIC and Fortran, right? And back then, in the technology field, it was all about following the rules. It was all about keep your head down, let your work speak for itself, and that's it. And if you do well, then we'll promote you, right? But now you're talking about concepts of resilience, challenging things, being innovative, questioning things. Those are all things that we weren't really taught in school. How do you think we can develop those kind of skills to question and challenge ourselves, challenge our industry? What are your thoughts around that change?
One of the ex-CEOs of IBM, Ginny Rometty, actually said, she wouldn't necessarily look for college degrees and masters and PhDs and so on when she looks to grow the workforce. Her advocacy was the ability to learn. That's really what she would look for in everyone. And it could be someone who has been, is about to retire, but even that employee needs to have the ability to learn. And we live in a world with this changing technology. What we are talking about today, 1 year from now, at this conference, that may not be the topic at all, something completely new. Right. So how easily can you learn is one of the traits. And I would say the very simple thing is don't ever forget that you started off as a student. Don't think that you have graduated from the need to learn. You never really graduate from the need to learn. You may get a college degree and so on, thank you very much. But that is just the foundation for you to continue to learn every day, every month, every year for the rest of your life.
Even as a C-level exec?
Absolutely. So just a quick sidebar, as you get more experienced, you have more mentees. There are this mentor-mentee relationship. If anyone thinks that it is the mentee who benefits, they are sadly mistaken. It's a bi-directional process where the mentor continues to learn because of the mentee. So you never stop learning. You learn from the people who are looking up to you. And if you don't, you're definitely not the right leader.
What have you learned from your mentees, Nadhan?
So one of the things that I have learned is I wish I was a mentee like they are today when I was in a few years back. I have seen mentees who would actually take the time and plan out, here is where I want to be, goal-oriented, and then put time on my calendar and ask me challenging questions so that they can learn. Now, I was kind of like, oh my God, can I do that? Is it okay to do it? The times were a little bit different, and I could have been a better mentee myself. So I learned from mentees and then pass on to other mentees. You could do it this way. Don't be shy to approach leaders, challenge leaders. Upward mentorship is also something to be, keep in mind. And upward mentorship applies to your direct leader at work or dotted line leadership and so on, right? And those are things that I'm learning from, especially when there is a generational gap, from the Gen X and the millennials, and just the way they think is so different. It kind of makes you take pause and go, I guess I'm dating myself when I say this, but in a good way, right? Yeah. Just because you have seen 2 or 3 decades doesn't necessarily mean you know it all. You still need to continue to learn from the new generation that is coming out of college, from the first decade of experience and so on. So very insightful dialogue there.
I want to pause real quick here and give a special shout out to one of our sponsors, CG Infinity. I've worked with them for several years now, and I can truly say that they have one of the best workplace cultures that I've ever experienced. And they specialize in a variety of industries, especially energy, utilities, and financial services. And they serve them through their Salesforce, cloud, as well as customer experience services. So thank you, CG Infinity. And I hope you'll support them as they have supported us here at the podcast. Now, I often see people get stuck in the mid-level management level, right? Whether they became a supervisor, a manager, or even a director, and then they hit a ceiling. Because it takes a totally different set of skills to become a C-level executive or senior leadership. What do you think is those missing or skills that need to be nurtured to get from mid to senior level for tech professionals?
So first off, I would say I used to work for somebody who told me an anecdote that this leader was like an SVP, and one of his directs at that time and came and asked, so what do I need to do to become a VP or an SVP? And the response was, well, if you're asking that question, then you're not ready, right? So, because the change in roles and the move up the ladder really happen because you're already doing, unconsciously. It is second nature to you. So it is just an academic HR exercise to go through the promotion per se. So there are two factors that I have taken to heart. Now, I am no CEO but I have reached a certain level, I would say, because of something I learned from one of my mentors. And that is, always be on the lookout on your breadth of impact and sphere of influence. I'll never forget those two phrases. No matter what
again,
you're doing,
please.
The breadth of impact, so I'll dwell on that. Breadth of impact means, how broad, 1 minute of your time, whatever you're doing, what kind of an impact is it having? Is it within your team? Is it within the organization that your team is part of? Or is it something that is actually having a company-wide impact? Now, you could still do the same thing, but the impact can be game-changing at different levels. So see how you can broaden the impact, right? That's one. The other is the sphere of influence, which is, what does your network look like? Is it the team that you're working in? Is it other members who have absolutely nothing to do with what you're doing, right? Different domains. It may be people from your competition that you are networked with, happy hour conversations. How large is the community that you're part of, right? So breadth of impact and sphere of influence, if you continue to grow that with a purpose, while still focusing on your core skills and your expertise and so on, the rest will take care of itself.
Now, one thing I've seen you do quite masterfully is to build your brand on LinkedIn and network with people. You're always highlighting other executives. You're sharing what they've done, sharing what you've done. You're also kind of like networking online and in person. Any networking tips that you have? You
said it. There is a tendency on LinkedIn to promote oneself. It was a humbling experience to be at this conference, and I was so grateful to be recognized for this. It's that me tendency that I see a lot. Nothing wrong with that. You do need to that every once in a while. But if that's the only thing you do, the audience, your network will sort of, start to get bored of that, right? So if you are the only marketer of your brand, then there is a problem with that, right? So networking is really about recognizing others, and when you voice and showcase what others are doing, and your humility shows right there, right? So one very easy thing to do is promote your peers, promote your competition, with some, we all work for different companies with a good reason to be in business, so there are some boundaries, but promote them for who they represent, what they represent, their perspectives, promote their thoughts and so on. And you could come over that. You could even engage in some kind of a debate. Oh, you said this, but have you considered that, right? Complementary perspectives. Yes. That actually triggers debate and conversation. It is not just about, I spoke at this conference today, right? So that's a very easy tip.
I love that. And as you kind of look forward, right? We hear about AI, about all this innovation, and then talk around, oh, it's going to replace jobs or repetitive tasks and all that. Where do you kind of see the role of humanity and creativity as AI kind of takes more and more precedence?
Yeah, it is scary because I think the latest I read is that the generative AI, ChatGPT, I hope I'm right on this, but got a medical license or something, you know? As in it passed the medical licensing test or something to that effect. That's very scary, right? I would say whenever automation has been introduced over the years in different industries, it has never been, okay, let's turn the switch on and let's go fully automated. There have always been stumbling blocks, and we have learned. And the manual override option is always something that needs to be exercised. I mean, just like we would, let's say we are going for a health checkup or something, and there is some serious treatment, one would tend to have a second opinion, a third opinion. Is this the right thing? And AI is no different. Let's not discount AI for the value that it provides, because it can really, really work very well with volumes of data at scale. So we need it. We cannot just discount it saying, forget this, we can continue to do it the human way, right? We do need that, but we shouldn't just completely, it's always good to have a path to get a second opinion to what generative AI provides. So this way, what we would be doing is, if there are discrepancies, if there are anomalies, that's our way to make that AI even more intelligent. So there is lesser and lesser need to seek that second opinion. So that's what I would advocate there. That's what I see as a need. Blindly following what AI does can be disastrous.
Absolutely. What kind of legacy do you want to leave behind, Nadhan? What do you want to be remembered for?
Wow. I mean, some things that you said about me, I think I'm right there, about networking and so on. But I would like to, when I retire, if I am regarded as someone whose voice matters, someone whose thoughts matter, who people look up to, not necessarily look up to, but look to for insights, perspectives on technology, on various industries and where the trends are and so on. Just earning that respect of my peers and other leaders in the industry, I would go, job well done.
Well, thank you, Nadhan. You've provided all kinds of unique perspectives, and I think what sticks with me the most is to challenge and to be resilient. That really stuck with me. And so for all of you out there, be sure to continue to subscribe to the Tech Legacies video podcast. If you're watching on YouTube, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the bell. And if you're listening on the podcast, be sure to subscribe to Tech Legacies as well. Thank you, Nadhan, for your time and wisdom. I so appreciate it.
Always a pleasure, Fanny, and you have a tendency to bring out thoughts that I may not have brought out otherwise. So privileged to be here.
I appreciate that. Okay, folks, we'll see you next time. At Tech Legacies, we're all about helping technology professionals grow and succeed in their careers by sharing the advice of top technology executives. If you're looking to take your career to the next level and become a technology executive yourself, we have an exciting program to tell you about. It's called the Tech CxO Excellence Program by Tech CxO Launchpad, and they are our partners. They're offering an immersive, multimodal program developed and taught by current and former CIOs and CTOs who are passionate about building the next generation of C-suite technology executives. And you'll experience a full immersion into the C-suite world and also get to collaborate, network, and experience capstone-style projects with other professionals. And this is all while benefiting from face-to-face interactions in person with industry guest speakers. It is exclusively for a new level of C-suite executives and C-level direct reports and second directs who are earmarked for succession planning and career growth. To join their waitlist, register your interests at www.techcxolaunchpad.com. That's techcxolaunchpad.com. This program has everything you need to take your career to the next level.